Hallo meine lieben Freunde, willkommen zurück zur wohl letzten Folge Rosewater. Ich gehe mal stark davon aus, wir werden sehen im
It appears to
Geschehen.
be a charging device. There's a small round socket at the top. Not while Clark's around.
Ach, dürfen wir nicht.
Who knows what they keep in there? Looks like some demented puzzle box. It's displaying all sorts of numbers and readings I can't begin to comprehend. So this is Project Rosewater. The lab assistant's desk. She's written some notes, but I have no idea what they mean.
Okay.
Dr. Clark?
Yes, what is it?
Just how long have you been down in this facility?
8 months. We've made extraordinary progress, as you can see. I admit, I had some misgivings when I first learned what would be required of us, but it turns out the isolation has done wonders for our productivity.
So who built this whole underground complex anyway? I'm guessing it wasn't always a secret ethericity lab.
I'm not entirely sure. Apart from the additional equipment I specified, everything was already prepared for us when I arrived in El Presidio. General Laporte isn't exactly forthcoming with information he considers irrelevant.
Do you know much about General Laporte?
Not a great deal, no. I only met him when he summoned me to El Presidio. We speak occasionally, but only about professional matters. Just as well, I suppose. His interests don't align particularly well with mine.
So your relationship is purely professional?
It's an acquaintanceship at best.
Just how did you come to discover the existence of ethericity?
Now that's a story. When I was a boy, I read about the ancient Greeks and their studies of the heavens. Certain texts made obscure references to observations of energy subsisting in the atmosphere, something entirely different from electricity. The idea seized my imagination and sparked my passion for the pursuit of ethericity. I developed an instrument that I called the aetherometer in order to probe the atmospheric potential. Imagine my delight when I discovered that ethericity was in fact real. Unfortunately, the aetherometer has been appropriated by so-called spiritualists who believe they can use it to talk with the dead.
What inspired you to become a scientist?
Trite as it may sound, I wanted to make the world better. I had a fortunate birth. My parents were able to pay for my studies in Paris, which is where I earned my doctorate in physics. But even as a boy, I still saw plenty of terrible things going on around me. Others seemed not to see, but I did. Upon my return to Vespuccia, I began teaching and conducting independent research. My only explicit goal was to make some sort of discovery or development that would serve the
Das dient den Menschen sicher, die
I
super
would
Waffe.
like to believe I've achieved that.
Ja, haben wir gesehen, wie das.
I'd like to know your perspective on the Lamplight City Expo incident.
That was a dark day. Everything I worked for came crashing down in a matter of seconds. Being maligned and ostracized was bad enough, but I can still hear the screams of those 15 poor souls. If anything good can be said to have come from that horrible event, it taught me that nothing in this life is guaranteed.
Why did you agree to work on this project?
Why? I just experienced the worst disaster of my life. My work was first ridiculed and then outlawed, and I was exiled to a barren wasteland. The only prospect I could see was to leave the country and start everything over. But then I received General Laporte's offer. I could continue my work in safety and solitude. Everything I needed would be provided. No investors, no reporters, no loonies, no distractions. I'm certain anyone in my position would have jumped at the opportunity.
Ja, das kann ich nachvollziehen.
Who came up with Project Rosewater?
My understanding is that this work is for the benefit of the Vespuccian army. General Laporte is in charge of the project. Everything goes through him. Other than the facility guards, I've had contact with no one else.
What exactly is the goal of this project?
Well, once the etheric pistol is complete, we'll begin experimenting with larger caliber weapons.
Etheric rifles?
Yes, and whatever else the general sees fit to pursue.
Where does it stop?
You'd have to ask him that question.
How much longer until Project Rosewater is finished?
We're nearing the end of this phase. If all goes well, we should have a stable, fully functioning prototype by the end of the year.
How did this project get the name Rosewater?
My idea. Sentimental, really. I suppose I had gotten attached to my dry and dusty little desert lab. After all, Rosewater was my refuge when I lost everything else. I just made an offhand comment to that effect one day while discussing arrangements with the general. And he said, "Well, in that case, why don't you bring Rosewater with you?" When I found out he made that the official title of the project, it made me smile, I'll admit.
I'll let you get back to it.
Thank you.
Pardon me.
Sorry, can't talk right now. If you've got any questions, ask Dr. Clark.
Hey.
Hey, Phil? Would you look at this place? It's incredible.
When we entered Clark's lab in the desert, I considered it an abomination. But now, I cannot find the words to describe this accursed place. The sooner we find a way back to the surface, the better.
Okay, schauen wir mal. Kann wieder rüber. Oder können wir da raus? Können wir da rüber? Danger, high voltage.
I don't think I'm allowed in there. At least, not while there's someone watching.
That was really something.
So Laporte's got Clark developing etheric weapons for the military. This throws a wrench in Shaw's plans.
Despicable. Typical military. Working in secret to secure for itself awesome powers of death and destruction, without the knowledge or consent of the people. Perhaps Dr. Clark will be willing to abandon this project and turn his ambitions to something less wicked.
Perhaps. But I can't just ask him with his assistant right there. Maybe I can get her to leave the testing chamber so I can have a moment alone with Clark. Hey, Danny?
Yes, Harley.
How do you suppose they managed to build a place like this under an island?
Don't know, but whoever did it must be real serious about Dr. Clark's research.
Gemüse. Für die Kombüse.
These tomatoes are thriving. Must be all the exposure to ethericity. Controls, gauges, and dials. Who knows what they're for?
Ich weiß es nicht. Ich weiß es nicht.
Looks like a more complex version of the console back in Clark's desert lab. Looks like a
Schauen wir uns mal alles an.
There's a card slot next to the door. Seems to be locked. An etheric generator. It's big and loud.
Toaster.
Some kind of little oven for heating food, I think. This thing is in dire need of repairs. A couple of wires from that food heating device. Hey, can we talk?
Sure,
What's on your mind?
Have you been down here long?
About 7 months, I think. Without any sunlight, you really lose all sense of time. Sometimes it feels like decades.
Omgehend in het maar hoog, wenigstens.
No sunlight? You mean you never go outside?
No, of course not. Is this some kind of test? The terms were made very clear when we signed onto this project. We don't break protocol. I do really miss the sun, though. Sometimes I feel like a mushroom down here.
How did you become interested in etheric research?
I was already a researcher when I met Dr. Clark, but my field was chemistry. I had dabbled some with etheric experiments after hearing about Clark's research. When I saw him at the Lamplight City Expo, I knew I wanted to work with him, despite what happened. After the dust settled, I approached him about taking me on as an assistant. I got the feeling he was just surprised to still have any support.
Don't you ever get bored here?
Sure, all the time. We've got books, but I've read them all. This is my 3rd time through this one. At least this phase of the project's near completion. Maybe we'll get some time up top before the next one.
Never would have dreamed there was a whole secret facility hidden under this rock in the middle of the bay. Who built it anyway?
The military, I guess. Had to be someone with very deep pockets. Everything was already in place before they moved us in.
What are your thoughts on Project Rosewater?
Honestly, I try not to think about it too much. We're doing important scientific research, I can't deny that. Just because our focus is on weapons doesn't mean our results can't be used for other applications.
How do you like working with Dr. Clark?
It has its moments, but I'd be lying if I said it wasn't stressful. He gets wound up sometimes, which I understand. But other times he picks strange things to get cross about.
Like what?
Well, his biggest bugbear is food in the testing chamber. I made the mistake of taking my lunch in there once, and he just about had a conniption. Cleanliness is one thing, but this is a whole other level.
So Clark dislikes food in the testing chamber, does he?
Dislikes? More like detests.
Know anything about General Laporte?
I saw him once, right at the start of the project. Didn't talk to him. He seemed kind of intense. He's the one running this show, as far as I can tell. Beyond that, the man's a total mystery.
Okay, see you around.
Bye.
Wat is allemaal hier? Aha. So, ne? Was haben wir
The
Schönes?
box is full of odds and ends. Some sewing and personal grooming supplies.
Nimm doch was mit.
The only indication of time down here. A set of encyclopedias. Just some clothes and a couple of storage boxes. Just some The lab assistants share a room? Not sure if that's progressive or scandalous.
Wo ist denn Clarksons? Aber wahrscheinlich ist das Abgeschlossene. Das wird das da sein.
This must be the door to Dr. Clark's quarters. An etheric generator. It's big and loud. Odd device. Looks like it's meant.
It would probably be wise to avoid doing that right now.
Ja, schauen wir mal.
Not while Clark's around.
Get that out of here. No foodstuffs of any kind in the testing chamber.
She's busy. She's busy. I don't think I'm a...
Yes?
I haven't got any.
Gut, vielleicht kann er ihn ablenken und wir können die Banane irgendwo hinlegen.
Hey, Phil?
Ah.
Think you might occupy Dr. Clark's attention for a few minutes?
Of course. I can be very engaging after all.
Sehr gut.
Dr. Clark, may I have a moment?
Yes, what is it?
I should wait until she's occupied with the pistol.
Das war sehr knapp. Meine Fresse, Alter. Ich warte, bis ich zurückkomme. Dann rede ich an. Beweg dich, Mädchen.
Hey, Phil? Think you.
Dr. Clark?
Geh ein bisschen schneller, huh?
There. Now to watch the fireworks.
What? Miss Montgomery, what is the meaning of this? How many times have I said, no food in the testing chamber?
But
I don't want excuses. Clear it out. Put away the power cell. We're done with testing today.
Yes, Dr. Clark.
I apologize for that, Miss Leger, but I'm very particular about rules.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. I don't think I'm allowed in there.
Okay. Dann denke ich mal, müssen wir da entlang. Dann können wir. Wo ist denn? Aber die sind doch rein ins Zimmer gegangen, hm? Ja.
Can we talk?
I suppose so.
Just how long have you been working down here?
Good question. It's difficult keeping track of time. We're in September, right?
November, actually.
Oh, then it's been longer than I thought. We came down here in March.
What sparked your interest in etheric research?
I followed Dr. Clark's career from the early days. He was one of the first to begin advancing etheric theory with practical experiments. Not only that, he was getting results. After I graduated from university, I sent him my thesis on the effects of ethericity on plants and animals. I guess that made me one of the few practical researchers out there too. He wrote back immediately with an offer of employment.
How do you keep from getting bored?
The work is pretty all-consuming, and we don't have much of a social scene down here. Dr. Clark is kind enough to lend us his books to pass the quiet hours.
Do you know who built this place?
I suppose this is an old army base, but Clark's had it fitted with some really state-of-the-art equipment. We're lucky to be so well-resourced.
I was blown away by that demonstration. Figuratively speaking, of course.
Huh. We've been working on it non-stop, but there are a lot of kinks to work out before it'll be field-ready. For instance, we still can't get more than one shot out of each power cell. I suppose in an actual battlefield situation, you'd need to carry around a lot of cells and reload for every shot, like cannonballs. But the power cells are still very difficult to construct, so we only have a few prototypes. We have to recharge them constantly.
How long does it normally take to charge one of the power cells?
Around 6 hours.
Wow.
Wow is right. Joshua hooked one up to the etheric generator and discovered that it charged instantly. But Dr. Clark wasn't happy about it.
Why not?
He said it made the power cell unstable. But we didn't have to wait all day for the next trial, and Joshua was even able to get 2 shots out of that one. The overcharge effect is certainly something we should investigate later.
What was that about a faster way to charge the power cells?
Joshua figured out that hooking the power cell to the etheric generator, but Dr. Clark discovered...
Okay.
Between you and me, doesn't it concern you that ethericity is being weaponized?
Not at all. It's a powerful energy source, and this is one of many practical applications.
Sure, but isn't it better to use it for less destructive purposes?
We live in a dangerous world, and these are uncertain times. Other nations probably have their own etheric weaponry development programs underway. If we didn't pursue this research, we'd be falling behind. A new weapon is most useful as a deterrent. Having it in your back pocket means everyone else thinks twice before firing on you. I know Dr. Clark's had some moral reservations about the military applications of ethericity, but he's a professional through and through.
So, what's working with Dr. Clark like?
He's a brilliant man. I learn something new from him every day.
He seems short-tempered.
Well, yes, but that's just the genius mind, isn't it? No room left over for navigating social niceties.
Can you tell me anything about General Laporte?
Not really. I know he's the one overseeing this project, but I've never had the opportunity to speak with him.
I appreciate the chat.
It's nice to have someone new to talk to.
Ich glaube, ja. Jetzt haben wir mit ihr auch ein Gespräch geführt, ne? Wir führen ja da die besten
The only
Gespräche.
indication of time down here.
Ja. Kann ich mit dem Draht da das überbrücken?
That won't go in the slot.
Das ist ein Schlitz?
It doesn't fit.
Okay. Sagst du noch irgendetwas Wichtiges?
I've got nothing to ask him.
Okay. Und jetzt? Redet er irgendwas?
Dr. Clark?
Ja?
Yes, what is it?
Dr. Clark, there's something I need to tell you. We're not really from General Laporte's press corps.
What? Who are you then?
Some folks who are hired by D.W. Shaw to come find you.
The head of Vespuccia Petrol.
The very same.
What does she want with me?
She wants you to help her company pivot from oil to ethericity.
How does she intend to circumvent the ban?
She seems to think it'll be lifted soon. Or that she can influence things in that direction.
So she would have me work for VP to generate etheric energy for widespread use?
As an alternative power source, yes. It might even replace coal and oil someday.
Well, that's certainly more appealing than weaponry. But extreme arrangements have been made to develop this project in secret, and at considerable expense, I'm sure. It's not the sort of thing one can just walk away from.
You'd prefer your research be used to find new ways to kill people?
No, but
Look, I understand. You suffered a terrible setback after the expo. I'm sure it must have been hard. You probably felt like nobody would ever take you seriously again.
You have no idea.
I do know that if I were in your shoes, I'd have probably grabbed onto any lifeline. But I can tell your heart's not really in it, especially knowing what it is you're building.
Yes, well...
So you're gonna squander this opportunity to do some real good in the world because you're afraid of a stuffy old general?
You're right, Miss Leger. This isn't about me. This is about humanity. I'll come with you. But... oh goodness. How shall we... We need to do this discreetly. My assistants can't know what's going on. I'm going to my quarters to settle some things. Excuse me.
Damn. The revolution could use someone with your persuasive skills.
Too bad my Spanish is lousy.
Das war jetzt easy. Warum auch immer. Aber ich würde gerne mal reingucken.
Locked, naturally. Got it. I'm sure they won't miss just one power cell. Or maybe they will. Either way, I've got one now.
Jetzt können wir da auch entlang, ne?
So this is Project Rosewater. Let's hope nobody notices this is missing.
Na, das wird niemand auffallen, dass das Hauptding für... Und jetzt kann ich das beladen?
It won't be very useful if it's not charged.
Achso. Ja, aber aufladen können wir es da nicht, ne? Oder ist es bei dem Gerät möglich?
There, it's charging, I think. This thing is taking forever to charge. There must be a faster way.
Sie hat ja gesagt,
It's displaying all sorts of numbers and readings I can't begin to comprehend. Can we talk? What was that about a faster way to charge the power cells?
Joshua figured out that hooking the power cell to the etheric generator charged it instantly, but Dr. Clark discouraged it because it makes the power cell unstable. It's not.
Drat. This doesn't...
so müssen wir es ranhalten oder so.
There's nowhere to plug the power cell in. I'll have to find a way to connect it to the generator.
Ah, hello. I'm just leaving a note for my assistants.
Explaining why you're giving them the slip?
I feel I owe it to them.
Who are those busts of?
Galileo, Copernicus, Da Vinci. 3 great men who changed the world as we know it.
Hoping to add your likeness to the collection someday?
Well, I wouldn't be opposed, if I'd earned it, of course.
A toolbox. Naturally, Clark would be a tinkerer. Might I borrow your screwdriver, Dr. Clark?
By all means.
A ferrotype of a desert landscape. It's a ferrotype of Clark's old lab near Rosewater.
Wir haben einen Schraubenzieher, wir haben... Kann man mit dem da arbeiten oder was?
I'd better not. Who knows if this thing is unstable?
Oder ist es eh drinnen, das Teil, und wir müssen das da dort irgendwie überbrücken?
Bars of aurum. Lots of them. I can't charge that.
Mädchen. Wie müssen wir das jetzt angehen?
Looks like a more complex version of the console back in Clark's desert lab. These tomatoes are thriving. Must be all the exposure to ethericity. Controls, gauges, and...
Ja, keine Ahnung. Es ist schon wieder...
An etheric generator. It's big and loud.
Hat schon wieder so...
The only thing I can load this pistol with is a charged power cell.
Schon wieder so kompliziert.
I'd better not. Who knows if this thing is unstable?
Ja, Mädchen, ich weiß nicht, kannst du einfach jetzt einmal... Es ist ja das Logischste war ja, dass man zu dem Scheiß dazu geht. Jetzt geht's mir schon am Arsch dann. Ich weiß nicht, immer so komisch kompliziert jetzt auf einmal. Die ganze Zeit
Dr.
hast du nichts, jetzt hast du komische...
Yes. What is it?
Eigenartige, komische Rätsel, wo ich immer... Oder muss ich immer fort irgendwen herumfragen und dann kann ich es erst aufmachen.
Something I've been wondering
Das ist
about.
eigenartig.
When we first started looking for you, the idea was floated, let's say,
Ich
that
beschäftigt mir
you
nie
had
was
a
einfällt.
stash somewhere of
Scheiß
cash
Schraubenzieher und
left
Rot
over
haben wir
from
und nichts kannst du.
investments in your research that had to be concealed once the work became illegal. Is there any truth to that notion?
You're asking me to tell you if I have a secret hidden fortune.
Well, I don't expect you to tell me where or hand it over or anything. I'm just burning to know if there was really anything to the rumor at all, or if it was all just dust and fairy tales.
What do you think?
Call me a romantic, but I just have a feeling there's more to this story. You strike me as a man who might have some tricks up his sleeve, and one or two secrets. Did you know that a group of ethericity worshippers flocked to your old lab and set up a commune there?
My lab in Rosewater?
Yup. We met them when we went there looking for clues as to your whereabouts. They picked everything clean. Built a kind of museum to you and your work.
I had no idea, but my work always attracted strange sorts. Curious gawkers would show up now and again, hoping to catch a glimpse of something spectacular, or the angry bereaved, threatening vengeance for the victims of the disaster. It's been quite a relief not having to worry about all that down here.
That commune by your lab? They're from a religious movement calling themselves the Luminarians. Apparently, they believe that the ether is populated by these otherworldly presences called the Luminous Ones, and that you disappeared because you opened up a gateway to the other side of the veil where everything is bliss and peace, and you transcended and became a Luminous One yourself. They call you Evocator Bennett, and they think that you were just leading the way for them all to follow somehow and cross over into new lives on the other side. They think that anyone who gets vaporized in an etheric blast also transcends into the ether, and their soul, which looks like a butterfly trapped inside their body, gets freed to fly into this other place while leaving behind the shadow of their mortal shell as a marker. They make what they call soul paintings of people that look like the shadows of the disaster victims, and paint butterfly motifs all over everything to indicate the purity and beauty of a person's true etheric form.
Wow.
So how do we make our escape without alerting your assistants?
First things first. We need to call the elevator so we have a way out. But we also need to find a way to disable the communications relay. Otherwise, the alarm will be raised and they'll catch us in no time.
Could you explain this communications relay thing?
Of course. Next to the elevator, there's a device we can use to contact the person standing guard upstairs. It's mainly for emergency use. If the guard doesn't respond after a time, the wires relay the signal to Laporte's office.
So we need to disable it to keep Laporte from suspecting anything.
Precisely.
So how can we call the elevator?
Good question. It requires a 4-digit code. To my knowledge, the only people who know it are General Laporte and the guard upstairs.
Too bad I didn't think to ask what it was before getting rid of him.
Without that code, we are stuck.
I'll figure something out. I'll let you get back to it.
Thank you.
Können wir jetzt das da mal aufladen?
There's nowhere to plug the power cell in. I'd better not.
Er wird ja wohl irgendwo eine beschissene Schrauben haben, wo man mal reinfahren kann, mit einem Schraubenzieher und drehen kann. Ich weiß nicht, warum das so kompliziert jetzt ist.
I don't see any screws, and stabbing it won't help. That won't do much. This contraption has a keypad instead of a slot. It must need a code. Nothing. Seems there's no way to open it. Hey, any ideas to disable the communications relay?
Well, I never encountered a piece of machinery I could not blow up.
Any ideas?
Well...
Hey, Danny?
Yes, Harley.
Any idea how we can disable the communications relay?
Don't suppose there's an off switch?
None that I can see.
Maybe it's time to look for a sledgehammer.
Mal. Ich kann mit den Schraubenzieher einfach nichts anfangen.
Can't charge that.
Das ist ja nicht aufladen, das ist aufmachen.
The lab is...
Nein, ich bin wahnsinnig. Ich weiß nicht, wir haben Schraubenzieher, wir haben Draht. Muss ja irgendwas gehen, oder?
This seems like a good place to attach the wires.
Ja, aber habe ich das nicht schon gemacht? Einmal Kruzifix.
Here we go. Hope this works. Wow, it charged up almost instantly. Locked and loaded.
Okay. Warte mal, da sehe ich was. Kann man da was aufdrehen?
There we go. Interesting. This metal plate has several contact points. Interesting.
Können wir das jetzt sprengen? Oder kann man das
This is going
sprengen?
to be loud. I should make sure the elevator's ready to take us back up first.
Okay. Ja, aber...
A strange wooden card lined with metal. It's got some holes on one side. Hang on. This configuration of holes looks an awful lot like the contacts on that metal plate. Well, how about that?
Okay.
Guess I pressed too many.
Zwei. 5, 2 haben wir mal.
Guess that wasn't the right code.
Fünf, 2, 3, 8.
There! That was it.
Sehr gut.
I figured out the code. The elevator's ready to be called.
Excelente. Let us make our escape.
Not just yet. I need to take care of the communications relay.
The what?
That contraption on the wall there. Clark said we need to disable it before we leave.
Jetzt dann.
Stand back. I'm taking this thing out.
Boing.
Whoa! Híjole!
I thought the plan was to do this discreetly.
Desperate times and all that. Now come on, let's get out of here.
You're taking the prototype, I see. Wait, where did you get a charged power cell? We only charged one up, and we used it in the demonstration.
I hooked this one up to the etheric generator.
You what? That's incredibly dangerous. That kind of unfiltered surge would leave the power cell completely unstable. Unless it's discharged within the next, 20 minutes. It will explode.
Oh, we'll have to worry about that later. Let's get back topside before your assistants figure out what's going on.
If that power cell starts glowing white, you had better let me know quick.
Juhu.
After you, Doctor.
Dann schmeißen wir es halt ins Meer. Oh oh.
Hold it right there.
Shouldn't you be cowering under your bed?
Shut up. Hand over your weapons and come with us. There's someone wants to see you.
Tor.
Taking some air, Dr. Clark? Kindly stand over there if you would. You three, up against the wall.
Schießungskommando.
She had this funny pistol on her.
Ah, there it is. Can't let this fall into the wrong hands, can we? Now, have you got anything to say for yourself?
How did you know we were here?
I had you followed after our encounter at the Jolly Good Club. You thieves are all the same.
We are not thieves.
No? You raided my supply wagon, broke into my private room, took my key card from my safe, and stole my etheric pistol. If you're not thieves, you should consider taking it up. You're naturals.
Naja.
We had no idea the wagon was yours. We were only trying to help the Otham right a wrong done to them.
Friends to the savages, how noble. It's clear to me you've no
Zeit schinden.
idea what you've stepped into. So, who put you up to this?
This was all D.W. Shaw's scheme. She asked us to fetch Dr. Clark.
Curious. What would an oil tycoon want with an etheric scientist? I'll have to pay her a visit and ask. We've chatted long enough.
General, what are you doing?
Conducting my own test, Doctor. It's time to see if your prototype really
Aber ist er
works.
nicht geladen?
Not so fast, Laporte. I would strongly advise you not to fire that pistol.
And just who in blazes are you?
Timothy King, representing D.W. Shaw and Vespuccia Petrol.
Speak of the devil.
I'll have to insist you stop interfering with our agents and let them go.
You can't be serious.
I am.
Boys, take care of this louse.
Stand down, pendejo!
Lieutenant General!
Well, we've got all kinds coming out of the woodwork tonight. And who might you be?
Lieutenant General Marisol de la Vega. You must be General Laporte.
Seems you new Spanish revolutionaries are
Sé
much cleverer than I was led to believe.
Con de Indiana?
Cabron!
General Marquez assigned me to trace the suspicious shipments of Oram passing through Fort Beaumont. The trail led here.
Well, bully for you. Perhaps if you attended more to affairs in your own country, you rebels could accomplish more than mounting the occasional irritating riot for Spain to put down. But instead, here you are irritating me.
I gotta put a bullet in your head, Laporte.
Do so, and you'll receive one in kind. That goes for Mr. King as well.
It would seem we have reached an impasse.
I'm afraid the word impasse is not in my vocabulary.
You're playing with fire, General. Literally.
How do you mean?
The power cell in that pistol is unstable. It's about to blow unless it's discharged.
I see. Thank you for the warning. Suppose I should discharge it then.
What a jerk. People like that don't deserve warnings. Let's take that again.
Oh. Okay.
Aren't I entitled to some last words?
Yes, I suppose so. Go on then.
Ah. Nur ein Leben für mein Land geben, deswegen sagen Sie meinem Verleger, dass ich da täglich verspiele.
Relay a message to my editor at the Rosewater Post. My article will be late.
That's not the only thing that'll be laid around here.
Mei, komm, Alter, ich weiß das ja nicht, was ich jetzt antworten soll. Das ist jetzt aber auf gut Klick.
Ah, guess I should have said something else.
Ja,
Let's
toll.
take that again. Aren't I entitled?
Yes, go on then.
I swear to you, my ghost will haunt you for eternity.
It's a good thing I don't believe in ghosts.
Bist du deppert, Alter. Ja, was soll ich antworten? Was ist denn das Richtige? Ich kann jetzt da Rätsel raten, Alter, was die Antwort ist.
let's take that.
Es ist ja wirklich, ich meine, es muss ja nicht so sein, oder? Vielleicht haben wir da...
Surely we can reach some kind of agreement.
What did you have in mind?
Wie wär's, wenn sie die Waffe auf sich selbst richten?
If you let us walk out of here, we'll swear not to breathe a word about any of this.
I'm afraid I must defer to the old adage. 3 men can keep a secret if 2 of them are dead. I'm sure you understand.
Guess he's not. Let's take. You shoot and you'll just end up with 2 bullets in you.
I have faith in my men. They'll do what needs doing.
Aren't I entitled to some last words?
Yes, I suppose so. Go on then.
I must say, of all the people I've met, you're the most unstable. Wouldn't you agree, Dr. Clark?
Oh, yes.
What?
General Laporte, there is something you need to know.
Now, Clark? Really?
I am afraid it's quite important.
What then?
Well, you see, in my research, we uncovered some fascinating facts about the nature of ethericity. As it turns out, etheric particles, when agitated, enter a state of flux. They begin to dance, in a manner of speaking.
Yes, and...
Well, normally this isn't a problem, but if one were to, say, contain an excessive etheric charge in a small container, the particles would dance with an ever-growing intensity. They would continue this frantic movement until, after a certain amount of time, the harmonic resonances caused by the vibration of the particles would rapidly intensify, at which point, with no outlet, they would quite literally explode.
Are you saying you've discovered how to make an etheric bomb?
Yes. That would be more or less the long and short of it.
That is excellent news, although this is a strange time to deliver it. We'll have to work it into the next phase of the project.
Well, as it turns out, I'm a bit ahead of schedule.
Oh?
Yes, an etheric bomb has already been developed.
Clark, you mad genius. I knew it was a wise decision to hire you. I can't wait to see this new weapon.
Das ist was. Das ist heiß.
Oh dear.
Santa Maria!
Whoa! Hands
Neue
up,
Stiefel.
cobarde!
Nice going, Doctor.
That was... Oh my. I wasn't sure how much longer I could keep stalling.
That was one of the most satisfying explosions I have ever seen.
Let's get off this rock, shall we?
Oh.
Well done, Lieutenant General. I knew you would come through.
Of course, Comandante. Now that we have discovered the destination of Laporte's clandestine Orem shipments, how shall we proceed?
It is clear the General will no longer be needing his Orem. How remarkable that in his final moments he chose to donate it all to the glorious cause of the revolution. You will find it all stashed away down in the base underground. I leave the arrangements in your hands.
Will you be returning with me?
Not just yet. I need to return with the others to collect our payment.
Very well. We can rendezvous on the island later.
It's true.
We're back, ma'am.
I assume everything has been taken care of?
All loose ends have been tied.
Splendid. Send them in. You've no idea how pleased I am at your success. It's good to finally make your acquaintance, Doctor. I am D.W. Shaw.
The pleasure is all mine, madame.
We have much to discuss. First, I must conclude my business with Miss Leger and her companions.
Of course.
You've been through a great deal. I cannot thank you enough.
All in a night's work.
Your modesty is admirable, Miss Leger. I won't keep you any longer. Here is your payment. Mr. Ackerman was promised 25,000, but considering all your trouble, I've increased it to 27. I'm
Jetzt
sure
war
you'll find it
30.000
easier to
machen.
divide.
You.
Thank you, Mrs. Shaw.
Pleasure doing business with you. Before you go, I made some inquiries and learned a few rather compelling things about General Laporte. I could share the information if you like.
Told him in, ne? Gut, so.
Go on, then.
It seems General Laporte was a staunch supporter of Mr. Atwood's trade party, quite vocal about his desire for the advancement of steam tech and etheric research. There were also rumours that he held some more controversial opinions regarding this country's sovereignty.
He was a separatist?
Apparently so.
You think Project Rosewater was meant to arm some kind of etheric revolution?
I am merely relaying the information I've learned. Anything beyond that is pure speculation. The only person with knowledge of Laporte's motives is the man himself.
And that information died with him. Well, with him gone and the prototype pistol destroyed, whatever plans he had can't come to fruition.
For now, yes. But I can tell you one thing about this world. It is rare that one accomplishes anything of note alone.
We should get back to our hotel. It's been a long night.
Indeed. Goodbye, Miss Leger. I hope you and your friends enjoy the rest of your time in El Presidio.
And thank you, Miss Leger. I appreciate your facilitating this new opportunity.
Best of luck to you, Dr. Clark. This was all very enlightening.
Am folgenden Abend.
So, what are you two planning on doing next?
Lieutenant General de la Vega has secured Laporte's aurum. That, along with his money, will go quite a long way to funding the revolution. We will have no trouble procuring arms now our coffers are nearly bursting.
What about you, Danny?
I'm not really sure. Suppose it wouldn't be such a bad idea to visit my folks. It's been too long. After that, guess I've got to find a new line of work.
On that subject, how would you feel about joining the new Spanish Revolution?
What? Really?
You have proven yourself to be a skilled gunslinger. We could use someone with your talents.
I don't know. I'm not really the fighting type.
I beg to differ. You are one of the strongest men I have ever encountered. It would be an honor to fight alongside you. What do you say, compadre?
All right. I'll do it.
Excelente!
And what about you, Harley?
Suppose I'll head back to Rosewater. I've got an article to write after all.
So, this is where we bid each other farewell, eh?
This is where we part ways, for now. But you know where to find me. And you can be damn sure I'll write back. I'll see you both around. It was a real pleasure traveling with you.
Hasta luego.
So long.
Vedere. Einige Zeit später.
I'm back.
Well, look what the cat dragged in.
Did I miss anything while I was gone?
Let's see.
Fenster
There was a
repariert.
dust devil by the saloon that nearly knocked Sheriff Gamble's hat off.
Front page news, then.
Seriously, though, I spoke with the leader of the autumn. She gave me some good stuff. The article runs next week. What of your great adventure?
Concluded now. But I've got plenty of material for an article. Maybe even 5.
And you'd best get to it. Better to jot everything down while it's still fresh.
Right you are, boss. They say the end of every journey marks the beginning of another. If there's any truth to that, this writer hopes the next one is decidedly duller. My companions and I set out from Rosewater and traveled across the Vespuccian frontier, encountering bandits, rebels, visionaries, eccentrics, and many more friends and foes. We were led to believe that our quest was for Dr. Bennett Clark's missing fortune, but as it turned out, we were on the trail of the very man himself. The following is an account of that journey, with no detail spared, no fact left unrelated.
Muss mir dann Ideen jetzt dann? Das würde mich interessieren.
And so at the journey's end, you may ask yourself, dear reader, what of the main players in this saga? Danny joined Phil's revolution and accompanied him back south. The two of them have led a successful campaign, driving back the Spanish army and claiming large stretches of territory as safe havens for the people of New Spain. The fight is far from over, but the spirit of the revolution is stronger than ever. Nadine Redbird has written to tell me she has fully recovered from her wounds and begun the process of obtaining her medical license. She tells me she plans to convert Lola Johnson's wagon into a kind of mobile clinic, traveling the frontier, helping those in need. It will be a welcome change from the usual traveling merchants hawking miracle cures. I can think of no one more qualified to dispense medical care. As for Miss Johnson, this new business venture will hopefully be more to her liking. At the very least, she now sets her own course, rather than bending to the whims of her clients. Miss Johnson and I never much saw eye to eye. She probably wouldn't even have liked me writing that, come to think of it. Still, it's reassuring to know that she has found some happiness with Nadine. Of course, I must acknowledge the catalyst for this grand adventure, Gentleman Jake Ackerman, albeit with some trepidation. For while it's true that he set this whole adventure in motion, it is my unpleasant duty to inform you, dear readers, that Mr. Ackerman is nothing more than a fraud. Far from the brave and noble hero he purports to be, Jake showed his true colors in a moment of danger. We found ourselves ambushed by Blackburn agents. Jake disgracefully turned and fled, leaving us to face the ruthless barbarians on our own. I have not heard from him since, nor would I wish to. As far as I'm concerned, he could be dead in a ditch or drowned in cheap whiskey in some dark saloon corner. The sooner this fallen star fades from our collective memories, the better we can all sleep. As for Dr. Clark, he seems happy in his new employment at Vespuccia Petrol. I can only hope his contributions to Mrs. Shaw's enterprise offer greater balm to the restless, inventive mind than the manufacture of apocalyptic weaponry. That, dear readers, is the long and the short of it. This was an adventure unlike any other I've been on. I doubt any other will ever compare. Whew, my hand hurts. We'll see what Joni has to say about this in the morning. Well, what do you think?
You want my honest opinion?
Yes, of course I do.
It's good. Very good. It's great, actually. There's just no way on God's green earth we can print this.
Why not?
Secret underground laboratories, government conspiracies, special projects to develop etheric weapons. No one will believe a word of it. Not to mention you name some very powerful and important people who'd have me locked up for libel with a snap of a finger.
It's all true, Joni. I'm not in the habit of writing fiction.
Perhaps you should be.
Come again?
This story's got everything. Adventure, mad scientists, conspiracies, betrayals. Folk would pay through the nose to read this. If it were a novel.
Novel?
Sure. All you have to do is change the names, do a little narrative restructuring. You can even say it's based on actual events. That way we're off the hook if anyone's feathers get ruffled. What do you think?
A whole book, huh?
Trust me, I have a nose for these things. This one smells like a hit. You're sitting on a pile of aurum.
All right. I'll do it.
Excellent. Now all we need's a title.
That's your job, isn't it?
Suppose it is. It needs to be something catchy. Something simple yet evocative. Something like...
Rosewater. Okay. Sehr schön. Sehr schön. War jetzt das Ende, war ja so an sich cool. Man, allgemein ist es nicht schlecht, ne? Es ist einfach, wie gesagt, es ist jetzt nicht das Mitreißendste, finde ich, aber auch nicht das Unmitreißendste. Also wenn ich das jetzt dann so bewerten kann, würde ich dem wirklich von 10 Punkten wären wir auch bei einer 8, also von dem her super, ne? Es war schon ganz cool. Wie gesagt, jetzt manche Sachen, ja. Ja, eigentlich. Was mir gefallen hat, es war gar nicht so rätsellastig, das war eigentlich das Schöne. Leider ist halt manchmal das Problem, wenn du die ganze Zeit nicht wirklich viel was. Okay. Wenn du nicht viel Rätsel löst, dann kommst du halt schnell einmal raus, würde ich es behaupten. Aber das ist halt so, macht ja nichts. Na, war super. Schöne Story an sich. Trotzdem recht spannend und mitreißend. Mit interessanten Wendungen, muss man sagen. Ich hätte jetzt zum Schluss dann immer gedacht, dass uns der Jake wirklich so hintergeht. Ich muss jetzt ansagen, ich weiß nicht, ob das so gewollt ist. Am Endeffekt war er ja jetzt dann doch jemand, der feige davongelaufen ist, aber am Anfang hat er ja doch den Kampf aufgenommen, ne? Gegen den einen Typen. Da ist er nicht geflogen. Also, ist schon recht interessant, ne? Wie der Charakter sich dann so weiterentwickelt hat. Aber ist cool. Und es bietet natürlich, wie das Spiel wird, dadurch, dass das Spiel ja im den Lauf sich verändern kann. Jetzt weiß ich nicht, wahrscheinlich gibt es andere Enden. Kann das sein? Wahrscheinlich. Es muss andere Enden geben. Ich denke mal, dass Charaktere sterben können oder so, was ich so mitbekommen habe, so nebenbei. Ist, glaube ich, möglich. Bei uns ist jetzt niemand verstorben. Aber allein das, ne, dann könnte zum Beispiel die Nadine nicht schreiben, dass sie dann mit der Lola dann unterwegs ist, zum Beispiel diesen fahrenden mit diesem fahrenden Medizinwagen da hat. Wobei man dann sagen muss, das wird sich wahrscheinlich dann in Grenzen halten, ne? Beim Ende her, da wird halt dann so die Geschichtssagung dann halt ein bisschen anders sein. Aber cool, du, das passt, das reicht und ist super, das bietet sich an, irgendwann einmal wieder zu spielen. In einigen Monaten oder so. Wo man halt, ich sag mal, man muss halt ich denke, am besten ist es halt wieder, wenn man viel vom Spiel vergessen hat, um es dann ja noch einmal zu spielen und vielleicht. Ja, wobei schwer zu sagen, dann entscheidet man sich vielleicht im Endeffekt wieder so, wie man sich jetzt entschieden hat, so spontan. Vielleicht müsste man, wenn man es noch einmal spielt, schon einiges wissen, beziehungsweise man müsste einfach grundsätzlich gegen das entscheiden, was man eigentlich entscheiden würde. Hätte man bestimmt was anderes. Na, aber war ganz super. Man muss sagen, für das, ich habe das Spiel gratis bekommen. Dafür vielen lieben Dank noch einmal. Und da muss ich schon einmal sagen, oder für das gratis, oder ich habe schon Spiele gekauft, die da ja, mehr gekostet haben und richtig scheiße waren. Das ist ja ein Traum, ne, wenn du sowas geschenkt kriegst. Also, da bin ich wirklich froh. Es ist halt wirklich schade, dass es halt noch keine Volker Ritzhaupt ist ja immer, der ist ja immer involviert, gell? Ist halt nur ein bisschen schade, sage ich einmal, dass es keine deutsche Sprachausgabe gibt. Die wäre halt natürlich noch cool. Irgendwie. Das wird irgendwie gut passen, glaube ich. Ja. So wie bei Bremen, ne, da hat man es. Aber ich glaube, das ist nicht direkt vom Volker Ritzhaupt selbst, aber der macht ja dieses Unforeseen Incidents und ja, was weiß ich, was da noch alles gibt. Das sind gute Spiele. Unforeseen Incidents kann ich nur empfehlen. Also, das hat mir irrsinnig gut gefallen, das Point-and-Click-Adventure. Also, das kann ich auch empfehlen. Also, richtig cool. Also, die machen allgemein die ganze Truppe, was da beisammen ist und irgendwie zusammenarbeitet und auch jeder für sich da was macht, die machen echt recht gute Point-and-Click-Adventures. Ich meine, das war jetzt auch super. Ist keine KI eingesetzt, ne? Bonusinhalt im Einstellungsmenü freigeschaltet, werden wir gleich mal schauen. Aber super, taugt mir. Lamplight City werden wir dann irgendwann spielen. Neues Spiel Plus. Okay, langsam wie man spielt. Kein neues Spiel Plus haben wir dazu gekriegt. Kurzszenen Akt 2 wählen, um Zugang zu Beziehungstracker für Gefährten. Aha. Ja. Mir reicht es jetzt so einmal, wie gesagt, also es super Game. Aber im Moment bin ich halt einfach nicht für Point-and-Click-Adventures. Es ist einfach, Dann habe ich noch über Kickstarter bei manchen mitfinanziert, die auch noch kommen werden, halt, um Gottes Willen. Im Moment ist es einfach nicht meins. Das Genre aus sich. Was nichts daran ändert, dass die Story cool ist und das Spiel trotzdem irgendwie Spaß gemacht hat. Ich bin im Moment einfach, ich weiß nicht, ist schwer zu sagen, im Moment bin ich nicht so Gaming fixiert, tatsächlich. Im Moment, ich meine, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 hat mir wieder irrsinnig gefallen, hat mir aber auch sehr ausgelutscht, muss ich mal sagen. Hat sehr viel Spielzeit reingepulvert. Hat mir auch wirklich viel Zeit beansprucht, hat mir in der Zeit, wie ich um kaum was anderes gekümmert, also vom Gaming her, dass ich jetzt mal wirklich so ein bisschen meinen Frieden brauche. Ich spiele ja nebenbei noch den Inspektor Schmidt, die Ebbing, ich weiß nicht, ob ich das weiterspiele oder nicht. Schauen wir mal, ob man bis dorthin, werdet ihr das sehen, ob mehr Folgen gekommen sind oder nicht. Aber ja, schauen wir einfach einmal, wie es weitergeht mit dem Ganzen, mit dem Kanal und allem drum und dran. Auf jeden Fall sage ich danke fürs Zusehen. Ne? Ich hoffe, es hat euch gefallen. Ich hoffe, die Reise war schön mit mir. Ich habe es auf jeden Fall genossen und wir hören uns bei einem anderen Let's Play hoffentlich dann wieder. Ich sage danke und bis zum nächsten Mal. Tschüss.